Alright guys, we are live. So I've got 2 LA players tonight on the Alliance After Dark podcast. I've got LA Legionnaires. What's going on, buddy?
What is up, guys? Happy to be back.
Exactly, man. That's 2 now. You are going to be my most illustrious guest here in a minute. I might have to even give you a little co-host spot.
You know what? I'd say I wouldn't mind, but I don't think I have the time.
Yeah, exactly. There you go, buddy. And then I've also got LA Twilight tonight. LA Twilight, how you doing, buddy?
It's going.
I'm gonna have to remember to call you by your mascot names because if I say LA, there might be a lot of talking over each other.
Yeah, we just might. I'll be sure to defer any LA related comments to Twilight, or at least I'll try to make it easier. But
Prefer to be as the right side of LA.
I was gonna say,
Good side.
Let's calm down there, youngster. I'm an OG from LA. I'm like Snoop Doggy Dogg. You can't come at me with that.
I thought you live.
My head coach is Snoop Doggy Dogg.
I thought you live in Boston.
I do, but I used to live in Cali.
Where else have you lived? I
I've
mean,
lived in California my entire life.
No, I made a pit stop through there. My mom's is from Cali. My dad spent most of his life in Cali. Because as soon as I say I'm from Massachusetts, people are like, "Oh, you're a Patriots fan." You know, yeah. I like to tell people that and get the shock value when I want it.
But you are a Patriots fan anyway, so you kind of fit the mold. And I think you're drinking. You said, what are you drinking right now?
I'm drinking a Jack's Abbey, which it's some fancy thing. I don't know. A friend of mine got me some craft beers, so having one of those. Usually I drink Guinness though, so that would be pretty Bostonian right there.
There you go. And Twilight, I hope you're not doing any drinking, right?
Nah,
Okay, good.
not yet. Or am I?
Trust me, there's no reason to get into it ahead of your time.
I no comment on that. I've made mistakes. I don't want to.
Haven't we all? That's not the point. The point is that you should learn from our mistakes.
There you go, man. That's the spice of life. Now it's just coffee. It's coffee 8 in the morning, 9 in the morning, 10 in the morning, and kind of rinse and repeat until 10 o'clock at night.
I switched to Red Bull by like 4 p.m. and then by like 10 p.m. I'm back to coffee.
See, I can't do Red Bulls. I get the shakes. I shake like a crack addict when I start drinking that stuff, man. I've had like out of body experiences drinking that stuff. That stuff's not good for me.
Oh, I have too. I've had like the super high strength like Rockstar energy drinks, and like I'll be sitting there in class shaking like a leaf. My teacher like asked if I was okay. I'm like sweating. I'm like, I'm good. Good.
Most similar thing I've had to that is staying up for like 2 days.
Straight?
I've done that. I think my record is like 3.5 days with no sleep.
No way. I don't believe that.
What was that?
3 straight days?
3? Oh yeah. It was miserable, but I was doing it was like a charity thing, and it was like the more whatever you get done in like 3 days. And it was like, well, we're just not gonna sleep and just power through it. And it was a mistake, but did good stuff with it.
I've gone like 49 hours and 45 minutes.
What do you do for all that time?
YouTube all day, all night.
I wouldn't even know what that is.
You stayed up for
man.
You stayed up for 49 hours straight just watching YouTube videos?
Basically.
Oh my
Man,
god.
I was reading. I played video games some, but like not all. I just did a bunch of stuff. It was just like, how late can I stay up? Board games, Cards Against Humanity for like 5 hours.
I'm told that like your body actually starts releasing chemicals that you start hallucinating because
Hey, you start hallucinating.
did you have any of that happen?
I haven't gotten to that point. I haven't gotten to that point yet.
No, that's like 4+ days aloof. It's something like you need to be awake. You need to be like torturing yourself basically to achieve that.
And you guys just did it just because, both of you.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, again, I said it was a charity event, so like I had a reason that wasn't just because, but like I've done 2 days plenty of times just because before.
What was the charity event for?
I just
I would raise money for children's hospitals.
So, I don't understand. So,
I just did it because why
Which
not?
is really, which I know seems counterintuitive
Yeah, a little
because
bit.
but no, and I don't think the intent when they did it was for us to do it like that. But I'm gonna do a little too much good.
How much money did you end up raising?
I probably $1,000 myself and two of the guys who were doing it,
Whoa,
which isn't a lot, but like
that is a lot.
Anything helps.
yeah, all right.
No, for me, the toughest. I have a horrible sleep schedule. A horrible sleep. I can't fall asleep at any decent time. I'll sit there in bed for 2 hours, 3 hours. I just
Me
can't
too.
sleep. I don't have insomnia, but like, I just can't. I can't like settle my mind to just go to
I
sleep.
do it on the flip side. When I wake up, it takes me like 2 hours to get out of bed.
I put together a little trivia thing, kind of to break the ice a
All
little
right,
bit. I figured
sure.
because it's an LA themed podcast that we could do a little bit of like a Hollywood movie trivia thing. So
Is it gonna go really well or really poorly for me?
I think this might
Yeah,
go
me too.
pretty well. All right. So the way this works, if I've got the 50, and please don't Google this, but I've got the 50 most profitable movies of all time, not adjusted for gross, inflation or anything like that. So these are the movies that made the most money, actual dollars. So just as a heads up, I know a lot of people like to say Gone with the Wind, but in this particular case, because we're not adjusted for gross, inflation, that would not be on this list. So
Yeah.
there's 50 movies. What we'll do is we'll go to Legionnaires. You pick one movie. You say one movie. If it's right, we go to Twilight and back and forth until I'll give you guys 2 strikes, and whoever can keep guessing the right answers without 2 strikes wins. How's that?
Try my best.
Okay. We'll go Age Before Beauty. So Legionnaires.
Right, that's how it would be. All right, so I'm gonna start with Avengers Endgame. I think that one grossed pretty high.
Avengers Endgame is actually number 1. So you are correct, sir.
Number one?
Yes, sir.
I was gonna say I thought it grossed pretty high.
All right, Twilight. Your turn, buddy. I'm going to give you a shot clock here in a second.
I don't know many movies.
I'll give you a clue just to kind of start things off here. Legionnaire said Endgame, and that's a great one. And there's a lot of other movies along that similar vein. I thought you're from
I
LA.
keep thinking
I thought
TV shows.
I thought you're from LA. You're supposed to be the movie guy here.
I keep thinking TV shows are movies.
Well, I'll let you think. I'll give you a strike, but go ahead and keep thinking. Legionnaires, let's go to you, buddy.
I'm gonna go Empire Strikes.
Empire Strikes Back?
Yeah.
That is actually not on the list.
Really?
Yeah,
That is shocking.
It was shocking. Yes, it was absolutely shocking.
I'm sure part of it is time frame.
Exactly. Yep. That is pretty funny.
That's painful. I need to start thinking old movie. I need to stop thinking classics and start thinking solely what sells out. Can I go again?
Sure, go for it. Yes.
I'm gonna go Frozen.
There you go. Yeah, exactly. That's a movie I know way too much about right now. So yes, but
I'm sure you do. I do too. It's okay.
and just for everyone out there listening, Empire Strikes Back, clearly the number one Star Wars movie in the franchise. Let me know what you guys think.
Absolutely.
I mean,
I think Aloof and I will agree on that, and we probably won't agree on much more, except that Attack of the Clones was by far the worst of the original six.
Attack of the Clones worse than the original six. You know what? I would agree, although Phantom Menace is pretty darn close.
It's close, but I would say Attack of the Clones was much, much worse.
I agree.
Just in terms of the whole weird, creepy love story thing, just kind of really sold it.
The dialogue is atrocious in that movie.
Oh, God, it's terrible. Even Obi-Wan isn't cool in Attack of the Clones, and he's awesome in Revenge of the Sith. So
exactly. Yep. All right, Twilight, back to you, buddy. We've given you a lot of time. Just think, biggest movies out there in the last couple of years. I'm sure it's one of these.
You should have let me go first. I would have thought of Endgame.
Well, there's other MCU movies that are on this list. I don't think that's giving anything away. There's so many MCU movies anymore, but there's still quite a few.
I don't watch anything MCU very often.
Okay.
Is there anything maybe a lot of your friends and family went to see, or stuff you saw stuff on the internet for?
I'm going to know a lot of these, and I'm just going to be so disappointed in myself. The only thing that's coming to mind is Inside Out.
Inside Out. Good guess, but unfortunately not on the list. I can flip up the format here a little bit. How about you guys work together and let's see if we can get all 50 of these, or at least quite a bit of them.
I don't know about all 50, but I'm gonna go Frozen 2 as my next guess.
Frozen 2 is
I
a
think
good
That's what I was
one.
thinking.
I think it did better than Frozen 1 in the box office because everyone loved Frozen 1 so much.
Yep. Frozen 2 is on the list. Good job. Yeah.
I'm gonna go original Avengers, and I'm also gonna go Avengers. I don't want to say Age of Ultron, whatever the one in the middle was that wasn't Age of Ultron.
Don't quote me on this, but is Iron Man a movie?
Iron Man is a movie. Yeah. And
Is
that
it on there?
and Iron Man is not actually, surprisingly enough.
Batman?
What about Dark Knight? What about Dark Knight, Aloof? Is Dark Knight on there?
Dark Knight is on there. Yep.
Yep.
And Twilight, I'm gonna give it to you, buddy. It's not Iron Man, but Iron Man 3 is actually
Is on there.
Exactly. Yep.
Okay, we can give that to him because I'd argue Iron Man is much better than Iron Man 3 anyways.
Yeah, I was surprised Iron Man 3 made so much more. You would have. I remember when Iron Man came out; it was such a game changer. But
Wow, it was a great one. How about Force Awakens? Would that be on there?
Force Awakens is on there. Yep. Good call.
Okay, so this is so if that's the case, can we just throw the other two recent Star Wars movies on there of the trilogy at least, or is that not accurate actually?
So Rise of Skywalker is on there.
Yep, and
The Last Jedi. Yep.
Last Jedi, those are both on there.
Yes, sir. You're flying through these now. There's a couple on here that are fairly, I would say, obvious.
It's just like I look at if it's not going to be the original Star Wars, it'll be the recent Star Wars.
Yep, exactly.
I want to Google this so much.
Is Revenge of the Sith on there by chance, or is that still too old to maybe have a place there?
Yeah, Revenge of the Sith does not make it. It was close. It was in the low 50s, but it's not one of the top 50.
Oh yeah, just not quite 50. Okay.
Yep.
I got to think about this for a minute. Black Panther, I'm sure.
Black Panther is. Yep.
Yeah.
Should have thought of that.
It's all right. I'm old, and when you get old, you start to think of things like that.
My brother's favorite movie. I should have thought of that.
That old Black Panther movie from 2016. Yeah.
What about Harry Potter, Fantastic Beasts, and Where to Find Them?
Ooh, good.
Oh,
good.
Fantastic Four.
So I'll tell you this: Fantastic Four is not on there, and the Harry Potter movie or Harry Potter ethos movie that you referenced is not on there.
Oh.
But there are a couple Harry Potter
What is it
movies.
called?
A couple
The
Harry Potter movies. So then Deathly Hallows 1 and 2 would be my guesses then.
Yep, that's and there's one more after that.
So then Half-Blood Prince?
Earlier. Think earlier.
Really?
Yep.
Is it Goblet of Fire or is it even earlier than that?
It's the very first one, the Sorcerer's Stone or Philosopher's Stone
Really?
for my British friends there. Yeah, yeah, which I was surprised.
I mean I love that because that's my favorite Harry Potter book, honestly, and I know people don't necessarily agree with me there, but I just opened up the whole world of magic and stuff, and I just figured it was maybe too old to hit that list.
Harry Potter
But
is definitely must read type book for anyone wanting to get into the fantasy stuff. It's digestible
I
enough to get into it.
I I reread them in quarantine, and I'd like to take a moment to say that the RBA does not support the recent comments made by J.K. Rowling. They're upsetting and kind of not really. They go against what the RBA stands for as a league and a community. But that being said, I think that I can recommend maybe that go to your library and check out the books, and that way she doesn't get any royalties. You can still read them because they're still wonderful works of fiction.
Absolutely.
I didn't see the comments.
It's not worth looking up. The point, I just feel it's worth saying given some of the things she said. But we're gonna move
There's
on
there's
back to the movies for a minute, and I'd like to
there's
go
a movie there's a movie right on my fingertips. I can't figure out what it's called.
What's it about?
describe it for me.
It's the one it's with Groot and Rocket and the other people.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yes, thank you.
That is my favorite MCU movie, and I'm a huge MCU fan. Guardians of the Galaxy, unfortunately, is not on the list, but that's a great guess because
It should be.
that is my favorite MCU movie. Just it came out
That
of
is a really good
it
one.
came out of left field, and nobody expected it to be the classic that it so obviously is now. So, yep, great.
But yeah. What about Return of the King? I know that might be a little
Ooh,
old,
that's a great
but
one. That's one.
I figure that if there's gonna be a Lord of the Rings movie on there, it'll be Return of the King.
So I'll give you two things on that. There's another Lord of the Rings movie on there, but Return of the King was one of them. So nice job. Yeah, you got it.
Another one on there. So is it Two Towers then? Because Two Towers was phenomenal.
No, unfortunately, not Two Towers. Nope.
No.
Nope.
Is it one of the Hobbit movies? Because I'm not going to guess through the three Hobbit movies.
There you go. Yeah, it's one of the three Hobbit movies. It's the first one.
Okay.
An Unexpected
Okay.
Journey. Yep.
Yeah.
So we are.
Wow.
I don't know if you guys are keeping.
What about Blade Runner? That's a classic. I don't know if it box officed well.
No, not on there. Nope. But
Minority Report.
no, nope, not Minority Report.
Mad Max Fury Road.
I haven't seen that movie yet, and everyone keeps talking about how good it is.
I haven't seen it, but it people said it was fantastic, and there's a big thing in like Hollywood's car museum about Mad Max Fury Road. So is it or is it not on the list? Is the question.
It's not, no, it's not on the list. I saw the original. I like the original, but neither one of these is on the list.
Oh, I've only seen the original, but
Big Hero 6.
Ooh, that's a good one. I actually saw that one. It's pretty good. No, not that one, but there's quite a few digital cartoon movies that are on the list.
Zootopia.
Zootopia. Wow, that's great. That's one I thought you guys weren't gonna get. You got it.
really good one. I forgot about Zootopia.
Zootopia was
What
on the
about
list.
Incredibles 2?
Right.
Incredibles 2 has to be on there.
Incredibles 1 is on there,
Really?
but not
Because
Incredibles.
man, Incredibles 2 came out and I lost my mind. I was like, oh my god, Incredibles 2's here. Everyone's gonna be going to see it.
I know it only took 10
Uh,
years.
What about
What about Into the Spider-Verse? Into the Spider-Verse, Aloof Balloon.
No, that's a great one too with Miles Morales, but nope, that's not on the list.
Oh, okay. Baby Driver.
Nope.
Ah, that was a movie that was designed to be seen in theaters if ever there was one.
You guys have pretty much touched on some of the big box office franchises, but there's really two or three that you haven't hit yet that I think will be obvious. But
The
they,
thing for me is a lot of the ones that I've seen are like stuff that have been books first, and so like Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter and stuff. It's like I read all those books before I ever watched those movies.
so I'll give you a. I'm gonna
Um,
give you a clue, Legionnaires. There's
sure.
one
Okay.
more on here that was a book before it became a movie. Someone's
Maybe a
gonna
little more
so
than that.
someone's gonna fact check me and say that that's not right once they get the whole list here. But there's one on here for sure that I know of that was a book, an old book that is became a movie.
Became a movie recently.
Yep, the version of this movie, it was pretty recent. It starred Johnny Depp,
Mm.
and he had a top
It's
hat.
not Pirates of the Caribbean, but is that on there?
A bunch of Pirates of the Caribbean around here. I think there's actually like two or three of those. That's a
So Curse of the Black Pearl is probably on there, and so is Dead Man's Chest. I
so.
don't know about the other two or three or whatever.
I don't even know how many there are now. So it's the Dead Man's Chest was on here,
Yep.
and
Mm.
and Fallen Kingdom, which I'm not even sure what the heck that is.
That's one of the ones with the mermaids or whatever. I don't even know.
How many are there now? I mean, I think he's doing it now for the divorce money paychecks, as I understand it. If I can say that.
I gotta think about what else Johnny Depp has been in. Oh, jeez. Just give me
Controversial
that.
opinion.
Was that Twilight?
I don't like Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah, I don't blame you there.
I liked the first couple, if only because I feel like I am Jack Sparrow a lot of the time.
Wow, that's
Kind of dumb, talks with his hands a lot, and loves alcohol. But um,
you should be drinking. You
okay,
should be drinking rum then, not a pilsner.
I really should be. I've made mistakes, but also I wanted something that would get me, buzzed, but not too buzzed to do this podcast. Um, so I settled for a beer. Um,
So Legionnaires,
what
I'll give you
what is the Johnny Depp movie? Aloof. I'm gonna cave and say I'm not gonna get it off of what you told me.
Alice in Wonderland. Believe it or not, that
Oh,
yes.
I see it.
Well,
Yep, that makes sense. I'm like looking around my room looking for clues as to like other movies that maybe I've seen that I liked that
I'm outside. I can't. I don't know.
I
yeah.
got
I
I
can't look
got I
around
got
my room.
So
I got nothing in here anyways.
it sounds like you guys are pretty stumped. So some other movies that were on the list, I won't go through them all. There's about another 30 or so. Uh, Toy Story.
Oh, you said children's animation and I should have run with that.
A couple Jurassic Park movies. Uh,
Yeah. I've seen him once, I've never seen him a second time. And none of the new ones.
a slew of MCU movies: Age of Ultron, Civil War, Captain Marvel.
Said Age of Ultron, just like I said it probably wasn't on there. So it's like Age of Ultron kind of sucked. Like,
The most recent movie that made it to the list is Joker. Believe it or not. So,
yeah, I've never seen it, but I heard it was really good.
whoa, yeah,
Um,
you gotta go see it.
yeah, I know. I'm bad about watching stuff.
So, guys, the Battle of LA, that's kind of what started this podcast. Um, can you guys tell me about it a little bit for the people that don't know what's going to happen here and what we can anticipate moving forward?
We're gonna do it every RBA season. It's kind of like basically just a head-to-head retro bowl thing that we're doing.
Yeah, I am so excited for this because it's like rivalry matches are such a big deal when you look at the football and the NFL and like the football landscape as we stand in 2020 and really since the start of the sport. And so to me to be able to say no, this is my rivalry game. This is like this other guy from, and it makes me think of soccer where like there's the London Derby or whatever, kind of like that, where it's like this is whose city really is this? These two
And it's
teams.
a
So
unique idea
exciting.
too, because I don't think the RBA has ever done it.
No, but we've had a lot of teams kind of jump on. There was the Lone Star battle between Texas Band Kids and Texas Stars. There's another one going on between
Yeah.
Bastille and Exeter, and I think there might be another one in the works right now somewhere.
Really? Where's that?
Yeah,
I don't remember what teams they are. I know there's probably at least one more. I think I remember hearing about.
yeah, I'm trying to get a Rust Belt together. I'm trying to do. It'll be me, Red Comets, Marching Ants, and Chicago Rams. It'll be a derby. There are 4 teams.
Oh, be
So
cool.
versus Red Comets and Rams versus Ents to make it fair for everyone.
There you go. Exactly. I'm definitely the low man of the totem pole over there, but that should be fun. Now, let me ask you this though: whoever wins, what's the prize? It's not just bragging rights, right? I heard that we'll give we'll switch.
So I have stated, and we're not going to talk anything about who's switching with nobody because that's not happening. Aloof, nice try though. I I have offered to ship the Twilight an RBA sticker if they beat me in the Battle of LA. So confident am I in my team's ability to wreak absolute havoc against who will be, funnily enough, the LA Rams in my version of the game.
I still think what we need to do is whoever loses has to get rid of the LA moniker. That there's only so much room in that town, and there's only room enough for one.
It
I
would be hard
lost.
for me to drop LA at this point. It would be
I,
hard.
I already played, so I lost. I
Hey, well,
think Aloof knows. I got a trash PD.
hey, you know what? I've lost games against the Rams in my game before, so there is no
Will, will that
guarantee of anything.
will that sticker still be there? The offer be there next season?
Hey, yeah, first season you beat me in the Battle of LA, I will send you a sticker. I think that is more than fair.
Come on, Twilight, man, have a
Up
little
until
have a little
up
confidence, Twilight. You got this.
up until you're in the Premier League. I will give it to you any season that you are below me in the leagues. But once you've hit Premier League, it's an equal playing ground. Because I still plan on being dislodged anytime soon.
What if you go back to Foundation League and I go up to Premier League?
I I,
What if
I
I
have
get
refused to die from the Premier League for the past 6 seasons. I don't plan on starting now.
what if I intentionally get relegated from Champions to Ultimate and then promoted back to Champions every single year?
You could do that, but if you're good enough to get promoted to Ultimate and pass there, I would say just keep going. You could do it between Champions and Ultimate if you really felt the drive for that sticker.
I think Twilight.
Yeah.
That's what Twilight's been doing. Band Kids has been doing. He's been
Bouncing between Champions and
yeah.
Premier.
He's won champions twice, which means he's been
Oh yeah,
relegated. Yeah.
I can't tell if he's getting relegated on purpose or if he's just on the cusp there.
Seems like that's more of a question for you.
Well, I still have yet to be relegated since the RBA started. I've been in Premier League since this league started, and I'm not going to say I'm one of the few. I am going to say I am the only council member to have only played in the Premier League. And there were multiple seasons where it looked like I was going to be relegated and didn't get relegated. So I'd like to keep my streak alive as long as possible.
LA Legionnaires is like and I don't mean this as a negative connotation, but you're like a cockroach. You refuse to die, man. I think you're
Absolutely. When the nuclear apocalypse hits,
you'll
I'll
say-
still be here in Premier League.
Try
I
not
know
to get
that.
relegated.
I try. I tried really hard to not get relegated. It's funny because the first couple of seasons especially the first season of the RBA, I think I was maybe 20th, and all the other four council members at the time were all like either in the playoffs or in the hunt for the playoffs, and then I was like way down at the bottom, and I was like, ah, guys, I suck. I'm never gonna do okay, and now they've all been relegated except for me, and I'm just hanging out there.
I'm covering my mic because it's picking up wind noise. I'm sure everyone in the Midwest is gonna totally trash on me, but it's like 11 miles per hour.
Yeah, why you come out the Midwest for? What do we
Pretty
do?
windy.
What do we do to you?
Have you heard about how windy it is?
Oh yeah. I
He
bet.
lives there.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So guys,
My dad's from Kansas. I can tell you, it can get kind of windy. But also, funnily enough, Chicago is not the windy city because of the wind. Here's some trivia for you, Twilight, and I'm sure Aloof Balloons already knows this to a degree. But Aloof, do you know why Chicago is actually called the Windy City?
it's because they're so full of hot air.
Incorrect. You really? I'm surprised. I would have thought you'd know this
I
one.
thought that's what it is. I thought it's because they're so braggadocious.
No.
The whole second city thing.
It's all about the politicians, and they'd get in their cars, and they it's all based on the politicians. They'd get in their cars, drive around Windy City because they were long winded.
Ooh, all right. There you go, Chicago Rams. You heard it here first.
Which at least that's how it has been explained to me, and it makes sense. And I thought it was super interesting. I've got a bunch of family. Chicago is one of my favorite cities in the U.S. I've been there, every year or two in living memory. I love it there. Great city. Um, just so full of culture and history and such.
Great sports town. It's a
Um,
great sports town. Love them.
yeah, but I mean, they've got culture and history. Where
Oh yeah.
I'm from, we just have history. There's no culture. It's just, hey, remember the blizzard of '78? It's like, no, I don't. I wasn't even born yet.
Yeah, right.
Good thing you're not from Wisconsin.
What's wrong?
Going to the Chicago
What's wrong with Wisconsin?
Packers.
Oh boy. I hope
And then-
Festigo fired us.
Festigo fired you.
We're gonna get some hate mail on this podcast now. You can't make fun of the Packers, man. That's all they've got over there. That cheesehead mentality
Point.
in Wisconsin is
Hey, they have
insane.
cheese. Don't forget about the cheese.
Who?
They make some darn good cheese in Wisconsin.
That's fair. That's about all.
I've never had it.
If you've had
Lactose
cheese,
intolerant.
I've
never had cheese.
you've never had cheese.
Never had cheese.
Never had it.
You've never had like cheese pizza.
Cheeseburger, just
Nope.
crackers and cheese.
Really?
Cheese like
I've had
melted
fake
cheese.
cheese.
What about ice cream? Have you had ice
Basically
cream?
just
Steak and cheese.
coconut milk.
Have you ever had ice cream?
I've had coconut milk ice cream.
Oh man. Are you like deathly allergic to dairy?
I'm not, but my entire family is, and I don't think anyone wants me to try dairy and find out. Especially since my food allergies are way worse than everyone else. I don't think it'd be a good idea.
Okay, that's fair. We're gonna stop bragging on him for his lack of cheese consume. Although I'll be real, I don't know what I would do if I was lactose intolerant. I don't
You
think
get used to it.
person would be okay. I think I as a person would have problems.
Everyone feels bad for you at the parties, and then they just forget about you and don't care.
Oh man.
I disagree with that. I have friends who are lactose intolerant. My girlfriend is lactose intolerant, so like I'm it's a part of my life. And to be fair, she takes meds for it and eats ice cream and cheese and whatever anyways, but I'm definitely aware of it. It's just, it's another facet of life. But we're not here to talk about cheese as much as it's hard to talk about much else with Wisconsin. Here's a question for you, Twilight. Does it snow in Antarctica?
That sounds like a philosophical
so.
question.
That's like a
Actually,
trick question.
Antarctica is technically a desert
I know, but it still snows there.
because incorrect. It does not snow
It's
there.
dry. It's too dry. It's
The
technically a desert
snow
because
is
it's dry.
blowing around by the wind. It does not precipitate snow in Antarctica almost ever because of
Wait,
just
then
the
how did the
conditions
snow get
of
there?
it got there and it stayed there. It's never been warm enough to melt.
That's interesting.
Yeah, right? I think it's super interesting.
What's more interesting about Antarctica is that is the birthplace of civilization. I don't know if you guys have read any Graham Hancock, but he's convinced that there's pyramids in Antarctica that are being covered up by the the different international organizations that are lodged there and doing studies and things like that. I don't want to get
Yeah.
I don't want to get too crazy with you guys, but I thought that'd be an interesting thing to point out, actually, that there used to be Antarctica used to be a lot further north of where it is right now, and actually could have been a very lush tropical climate, almost like a South America or even parts of Africa.
Wow, I'd love to live there.
Oh, I don't know if you'd want to live there now. I don't know about
It's
that.
a lot better than LA.
Ouch.
That's a hot take.
That's very hot. Exactly.
It's pretty cold there. I don't know if you've ever seen snow, but it gets pretty miserable after about the
I've
third or
never seen
fourth
snow.
time. They
I
see
wouldn't
there
know.
it is. He's never seen snow. He doesn't get it.
Yeah, you're not missing anything. I promise you. Just
I really, everyone's like, "Ooh, winter," and that's like the third snow. We're like, we hate winter. Like,
yeah. Once you're up at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning scraping ice off your car, it gets pretty darn annoying after a while. So no, you're not missing too much.
I don't even want to
Once you're
think
up at
about
three,
it.
once you're up at 3 or 4 in the morning, mosquito bites on you. It's pretty annoying in the summer.
We see. Here's the thing. I get that in the spring and summer, and I also get the snow in the winter.
Yep.
I get it all.
Yep. Same here. And I'm surprised you guys get mosquitoes in LA. I thought you guys had like horrendous air pollution. Wouldn't that just kill everything off?
Uh, yeah, we do, but there's still mosquitoes every once in a while, especially at evening.
Everything I know about LA is from the Grand Theft Auto games. So I'm just.
I love about LA from reading the Harry Bosch books.
What's the Harry Bosch books?
So Harry Bosch is the Harry Bosch series is a series of like detective, not detective, like police officer detective kind of novels. Really well written. You'd probably like them, Aloof.
Are they like current, or this is like 1950s like Dragnet type?
So they're set in no, they're not 1950s. The main character is like a Vietnam War vet. So they're set in like the 90s, 80s, 90s, I think. I
Okay.
think 90s. And like computers exist,
What?
Aloof. We'll put it that way.
Okay. All right. There you go. Computers exist. Yeah. There you go. That's my favorite reference for anything.
It wasn't a reference as so much as like well, I guess a timeline reference, but like no, computers are a thing, and so that puts you in about the right place. But like 9/11 hasn't happened yet, for
Okay.
instance.
There you go.
So like we're in that time frame, like 90s, and yeah, super just well written, really cool books. I'll drop you a link to the first one or whatever when we get off this call.
Yeah. Definitely. There you go. Have you guys ever played LA Noir? That's
I
a
have not, but I've heard it's great.
that's another good one.
LA, what?
It's a game called LA Noir. It's an older game, at least older now,
Never
but
played it.
it's pretty sweet. Yeah, it's pretty good. I'm not big on gaming. I mean, the most gaming that I do anymore is literally Retro Bowl. I haven't gotten into anything in a very long time.
Me too.
I
Triple is
game
good enough, so
sometimes, less just right now because I've got other stuff going on. But like I'm kind of waiting for Cyberpunk 2077 to drop.
Who made it?
So it's there. It was gonna release mid-April. It's releasing mid-September now. It's the guys who did The Witcher, who did Witcher 1, 2, and 3.
I just started watching that
Same
series on
studio.
Netflix, The Witcher. It's pretty phenomenal,
The
man.
games
back
are
to the topic.
fantastic. And so these guys have put like a bunch of effort into like this one, totally. It is cyberpunk. It is like sci-fi to the nitty-gritty. Yeah, I'm hyped for it. It looks like it's going to be a really just in-depth, awesome game.
Speaking of witches, is the Blair Witch Project on the 50 movies?
No, that's good, but it's not. Like I said, most of the movies on that list are the big tentpole franchises. I mean, that's really what like Hollywood movies are that are making money anymore. It's your MCUs, your Star Wars, you know, the Pixar movies and things like that. So, no, Blair Witch is not on it, but I actually was a kid when that came out, and
What
Did you
about
watch it as a
you?
kid?
I did. Me and a couple of friends, we ended up staying up real late one night. I got my grandma to rent the movie, if you can believe it. She didn't know what it was
That's a
about,
good idea.
so we told her to rent it for us. She had no idea what it was about. She went to bed, we put it in, and the rest is history. I haven't been able to sleep since.
What about E.T.? Out of curiosity, I'm just gonna throw movies at you when I think of them, aloof, and
There you go. No, actually, so just to give you a heads up, every movie on this list, other than I think Titanic, and I'm doing this off of memory now, every movie other than Titanic has come out in the last 15, 20 years.
that's where inflation kicks in.
That's where inflation kicks in. Yeah. Now, if I had done it for adjusted gross and all that, yeah, then obviously you're going to get your Gone with the Wind and probably some Indiana Jones movies in there and stuff like that. But it's all the movies of the last 20 years that have been banking.
Yeah. I think that's where you would get Star Wars, the original, and Star Wars Empire Strikes Back if you adjusted.
So I don't want to cause any waves here, but I mean, what's your thoughts on I don't know how big of a Star Wars fan you are, but either one of you are, but I mean, obviously things have gotten pretty
I've
divisive.
switched back and
Are we
forth between
talking
liking it and not liking it entire life.
as an absolute Star Wars geek who's seen every movie except Solo simply on principle, I really liked Force Awakens, which if only because Rey was a cool character who, like, at that point I could get behind, and then just like everything derailed after that. With the exception of I absolutely loved Rogue One.
See, but that's the thing. Rogue One had so many of those story elements of the original saga.
Just here's the thing: they weren't trying to make a sequel.
Right. There you go. That's what I mean. It had
And it was kind of a prequel, but even then, like, it was a standalone story.
and it had
They,
heart,
they
it had character, it had its own sort of
which to me goes, if Disney wants to launch a new Star Wars trilogy and they do not make it related to anything in the current timeline, they make it Old Republic or they make it like way past current thing, which I know they theoretically already did. I'm talking about go 100 years in the future, scrap all your characters,
Yep.
start again.
Yep. I agree.
I think they could do it. But it's just based on what I saw in Rogue One, I think they have the ability to do it.
Well, here's my thing.
But
I'm not a big
they were Go ahead.
I'm not a big comic book guy, but I fell in love with the MCU movies. And the reason why is because every story by itself, is a great story, obviously by itself, but it's such that connected, for, every little detail of one movie feeds into another one. And there's sort of this really cool tapestry at the end of it. And the problem with these last Star Wars movies is that they're so disjointed. I mean, literally, it's like, oh, Snoke. Who's this Snoke guy? Oh, he could be Palpatine. He could be, Plagueis. Who is this guy? And then the next movie, oh, he's nobody. He's dead. And then it's just like that sort of disjointed storytelling made these last three Star Wars movies just garbage to me. And I know it's a sensitive subject to a lot of guys, but they got to have a connected storyline, something that sort of just melds together across 2, 3, 4 movies, however many movies there's going to be.
I watched the first 6 movies when I was like 7 or so, and then I haven't watched anything else Star Wars. I don't mind it. It's just
honestly, you're fine like that.
I know, it's sad to say. It is. It's sad to say.
And it kills me because it's like I went into these new Star Wars movies with no expectations, just wanting to like them. And on the whole, I did like Force Awakens. Few plot points I didn't love and whatever, but nothing's perfect. Last Jedi killed the series for me. I mean, like, just everything about that movie hurt me. And then the big, character reveal that they did in The Last Jedi, that put the nail in the coffin for me. I was like, I can't like the protagonist like I used to like the protagonist. You know what I mean? There's just that kind of like lingering feeling about the things that they did to her that makes it just hurt.
Yep.
I can't like her anymore because of that, and that hurts because I wanted to like Rey. I really did, and I liked her up until that point.
Yeah.
I have I have another trivia answer. It comes to me at the wrong times, but would Secret Life of Pets or Secret Life of Pets 2 be on there?
Good answers, but nope, neither one of those movies made it.
There's some good movies when I was like 8.
Those were some good
I haven't seen that
The
one, but
original
no.
So the original Toy Story made it. Did Toy Story 2 make it?
Toy Story 3 and 4 made it. Toy Story 2 did not make it. So,
Really? Because 3 was terrible, and I haven't seen 4.
oh, time out,
I
sir.
haven't seen any of them.
Time out, sir. Let's get into this a little bit.
You cannot tell me 3 is better than 2. There is no world in which 3 is better than 2, and you know.
I think you've got your movies mixed up, sir. Toy Story 3 is phenomenal. That's when it should have just ended. That's the one where
That's the one with the purple bear.
yeah, man, the purple bear, and they look like they're gonna die, and then Andy at the end gives them away to that girl at the end, and there's all that montage.
Okay, the montage was nice, but that doesn't mean the movie was.
Oh,
I just
no.
The villain was a giant purple teddy bear. I'm sorry.
He's
And
evil.
I know it's Toy Story.
He had a cane.
I've watched. To be fair, Aloof, I've watched both of them multiple times, so I'm not just speaking off the cuff here. I thoroughly enjoyed Toy Story 2. I just didn't with Toy Story 3. I don't know why. I just
That purple bear really got you.
maybe it was just that purple bear, but like the Toy Story
Disrespectful.
2
Oh my God, this
had this
I am
Toy Story magic that I felt that I didn't feel with 3.
I don't care what you say about Star Wars. I'm livid now. I can't believe this. Toy Story, man. Toy Story 3 is phenomenal. Oh,
No,
it's all about
not.
it's all about growing up and moving on, and how do you have closure and the meaning of what it means to be a toy. I mean, oh my God, no way. I cannot believe you're hating on 3.
I just 2 is a classic, and I've never thought that way about 3. Maybe that's what it is. I'm old school, and so I'm like, oh, this is a classic, and maybe it's just I never. 3 will never be a classic in my opinion.
2 had a fat chicken man who wanted to sell the toys. How is that any better than the purple bear with a cane, and who had a minion who was a baby with tattoos on his face?
Because they flushed out Woody so much. That's why. Because his whole thing, and they flushed out Buzz Lightyear, and it was that bit of it that to me was really cool.
I'm imagining my wife right now. I'm in my basement right now talking about Toy Story, and she can't hear anything else going on the other line. It just sounds like I'm rambling in the basement about Toy Story. I'll probably be sleeping on the couch tonight. But I just
I don't even think about basements in LA. Not a single one.
What do you guys? Yeah, I guess why would you need one, right? I guess you don't have tornadoes.
Not a single one in LA.
Have you guys have earthquakes though in LA, don't you?
They're not as common as people would think, but we still get them.
To get landslides? What is in LA other than like the massive pollution that kills everyone? What else do you guys get down there?
Hot.
Fires in California, but like
yeah, fires. Gas prices are high. Everything's expensive. Sunsets are nice though.
I went to LA a year ago. Shit is real expensive.
Oh yeah. Gas is like $4.
Whoa.
Sometimes.
No. It's about
gas was $1.79 when I last filled my tank.
It's like $2.79 right now. It's insane. It's so cheap.
For us, it's like $2.80.
Now, Twilight.
Maybe $2.20. Depends on the day.
Jeez.
Twilight, are you a Kobe fan?
Me?
Yeah.
I don't follow basketball very much.
Oh my God.
I like them. I like basketball, but
I still got to find someone in the RBA to talk basketball with. I still have yet to find you.
That's not me either.
Exactly.
No.
If you're out there and you like talking basketball, get on this podcast. Let's talk.
Well, really, the sunsets are so nice here. Blocked by a tree, but
the sunsets, it's like sunrises where I am.
I know
nice, like pink and purple, or orange.
I know I keep saying it, but I think it's because of the pollution. I think that's what's making all those colors, if I understand it. That's
Yeah, I think so.
To a degree, we still get I still get purple and pink and stuff on my sunsets. It's just not, or my sunrises. It's just not as prominent as LA.
Gorgeous.
It
Like
is
almost
gorgeous.
a little. It's
Really
almost a
do.
gradient between the navy blue on the east side and the kind of almost sea
I will
green.
say those LA sunsets are absolutely gorgeous. It's killing you, but it's beautiful.
Yeah,
as
it
as
is.
as anything worth its salt does. It's the double-edged sword of life.
As most things in LA do.
Exactly right. Exactly. All right, guys. So I have a way of closing this podcast. I don't know if you've heard in other podcasts, but I usually end it with a list of 10 questions that I've stolen from a guy uh, named James Lipton from the Inside the Actors Studio. It was a great show from the early 2000s. And I'd like to ask these questions to you guys, if that's all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So Legionnaires, we'll start with you. And then Twilight, after he's done answering, you go ahead and jump in. What is your favorite word?
My favorite word. Pontificate.
Ooh.
That's my answer. I'm sticking with it.
I like it.
Jokingly, I'd say moist.
Don't say moist.
Realistically, I'd say, I guess, honesty.
I hate moist. That is my least favorite word, which is the next question. What is your least favorite word?
My least favorite word. Gotta think about this
Spoons.
one for a minute. Did you say spoons?
Yeah.
I said spoons. Okay.
Spoons is your least favorite word?
Yeah.
I gotta top that somehow.
I would have thought cheese.
That too, but spoons is worse. With spoons, like the inside part of spoons, the curved part, when they touch, it just gets me all riled up thinking about it.
I love
The sound and the look, just so wrong. I hate it.
I love these questions because I get to learn some weird random stuff about you guys. There you go.
I think my least favorite word is probably fungal, like fungal, fungal.
Yeah.
Like it's not a fungus, it's not a fungi, it's fungal. Like it's something else that should not have fungus on it that has fungus.
Like those commercials with the foot, like fungus.
Yes, it's a fungal infection, and that word to me is just so.
Next question. What turns you on?
Hey, can we ask this to somebody who's under 18? And that is for me and my girlfriend, and nobody else here needs to know. But I am gonna say the Patriots winning Super Bowl definitely gets me going.
It's interesting that you took it as a sexual question. I don't necessarily mean it to be.
I think it's hard for that to not come across as okay.
Well, that's your.
Yeah, I agree.
That's your id talking, not mine.
Aloof, that's absolute. Don't even mess with me here. Come on.
I guess for me it would be just someone, basically just someone talking to me, like taking their time out of the day. They can be doing whatever they want, but they chose their time to talk to me or do something with me.
Right on, man. Good question. No, good answer. I like that. What turns you guys off?
People who speak on a subject without actually doing their research.
I've been accused of that. I know how that one goes.
What was that?
I said I've been accused of that. I know how that goes.
Yeah, but just like especially on like just big topics. If somebody doesn't do their research and starts speaking without knowing what they're talking about, that drives me crazy.
Especially if you're in a position of authority, then you're making big decisions on things you don't know anything about.
Especially if you know your facts. It doesn't even matter about the authority part. Or you're saying if somebody's in a position of authority, yeah, that drives me extra bonkers. Like,
How about you, Twilight?
Not sure. It's swiping in Retro Bowl, I guess.
Ooh, there you go.
Typing a cheat.
Yes, there you go.
answer.
What sound or noise do you love?
What kind of noise?
Or sound?
Sound or
Is this safe for work?
It doesn't need to be.
Is this podcast safe for work?
So far it is, but these answers may tip the balance.
To be fair, I've been trying to keep it somewhat safe for work because Twilight's a little younger and I don't want to get in trouble with the law, but Twilight can say what he wishes and nothing will happen there. I guess it was what sound do you love? I'm gonna go with I'm a huge fan of like just the thunderstorm sounds. Like because I have skylights and so when there's heavy rain, you hear just like the kind of the flow of the water and stuff. I really like
don't even think about thunderstorms in California. At least Riley.
I've been there. I've survived many a thunderstorm in California and Texas
There's like
and all over this country.
one.
And
There's like one thunderstorm every year in California. If you're lucky.
Speaking
I think it depends on where in California you live. I think in LA that might be true, but
In LA area, yeah.
there's that few seconds right before that storm hits. There's that sort of like electricity, that sort of calm before the storm type feel. That's definitely one of my favorites. Okay, what sound or noise do you guys hate?
Spoons touching each other. Metal on metal, or metal's not supposed to be. Like,
I like it. Twilight has a vendetta against spoons.
This is something I never knew about you, Twilight.
I can't get over it. A spoon, just touching another spoon. I can't.
To psych Twilight out, I might send him a picture of my spoon drawer at home before the game.
Gosh.
If you're listening to this if you're listening to this podcast and you've gotten to this point in the episode, please spam the Discord with spoons.
I'm really looking forward to see how many people do that.
Don't do spoons touching each other. Don't like two spoons.
I think my least favorite sound is I hate to be classic and say nails on a chalkboard, but it really just that sound is just like hellish.
That it is, yes.
It's not that bad. It's not as bad as spoons.
Okay.
I think we differ in opinion there.
But if you grinded two spoons together, then it's hellish.
Oh, that's.
That would take a lot of grinding.
Yeah, that's great. I like how it's spoons specifically. It's not utensils. Like you have no qualms with forks or
knives.
knives.
Are fine.
Knives.
Forks are fine.
What about
spoons are
what
not
about?
fine.
So how do you eat soup?
Speaking of eating with spoons, I can't hear spoon against teeth. That's almost worse.
So do you eat soup?
That's a weird sound. I'll give you that.
I don't use my teeth. I just close my eyes and just go for it.
What about a spork?
They are the master like PC master race, Sporks master race. Yeah,
they're not usually metals. They're usually plastic or something, so they're fine.
What if I told you I owned 2 metal sporks?
I would not believe you.
I do own 2 metal sporks, as a matter of fact.
Do not let me come to your house.
This is by far the weirdest podcast episode. This is great. This
is the weirdest flex that's ever been had.
This is the greatest episode.
I have 2 sporks at my house.
This is great. Okay. What is your favorite curse word?
Because it is so versatile. It is a noun, a verb, an adjective. You can tack it on to anything and people understand what you're saying. And it can be used in so many different ways. Inflection is important. If I say fuck, or I say fuck, or I can change it up so much. Just this one word, I'm a huge fan of the versatility and the utility of the word fuck.
It's put a tie for me between trash and disgusting.
Did you just say disgusting was a curse word?
Hey, there are no right or wrong answers here. He's entitled to it.
Okay, that's fair.
I use it as a curse word.
There you go.
It's fair. I get that.
What profession other than your own, and of course, Twilight, you don't have one yet, but what profession would you like to attempt?
Does it have to be something I could realistically succeed at?
Me too.
Any specifically in your minds?
I have a couple of ideas, but is it like something where like I'd have to have the proper qualifications and stuff, or at least be able to attain the proper qualifications? Because my answers to this is very different depending on what the answer to that is.
All right. Let's say that you had all the proper paperwork, all the proper training, whatever profession you've got in your mind. Let's say that you were prepared to do it. Whatever you needed to do, you were ready to do it. What would that be?
Astronaut, hands down. I want to go to space. It's that simple, and I can't because my eyesight's too bad, and a bunch of other stuff. But
You don't.
going to space would be the coolest thing in the world to me, or I guess out of the world. Haha, haha. I don't know. I've just always been fascinated by it.
You wouldn't need training to get strapped to a rocket and blown 40,000 miles up into the sky.
But to be an astronaut with the proper like ability to get by in space, I think you would need some training, and plus like I'd want to be useful. I wouldn't want to just be dead.
Fair enough. Fair enough. How about you, Twilight?
I'd say probably graphical design, realistically.
Nice.
Some of my girlfriends go
Like making
design.
logos or something. Something for sports and graphic design.
Flip side of that question, what profession would you never like to try?
I would never like to be the guy who goes into people's septic tanks.
Oh.
Just specifically that. That does not and they get paid pretty well. I just don't think I could do it.
I was thinking about this on one of the other podcasts, but I couldn't find out anything.
You'd be down for going into a septic tank?
Me?
That is the question, is it not? Is there anything you can think of that's worse than going down into people's septic tanks?
I guess trash man. I don't know.
Like a stunt double?
Actually,
No.
a stunt double would actually be sweet. That's actually something I would like to try to do.
Yeah.
I'd be down for that.
I'd like
Like
to try it, except for just the much heightened risk of mortal injury.
Oh, that's the
Just
fun
like
stuff.
the trash guy, the guy who takes out the trash, not the like the guy who takes the trash and puts it in the truck or whatever.
So you wouldn't want to be a garbage man.
Apparently, they get paid a lot, but still, not a very good job.
Okay,
Enjoyable
that's fair.
job.
Not something you'd want to do. Okay.
All right, boys, last question. If heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
Do I have to be serious, or can I like make memes? Because
Yeah,
like I think
take it however you want.
I think I could go both ways on this. I think the serious answer would be I'd like to hear that I positively impacted people's lives. I think that is the thing that like it, if I go out, and if I go out before my time, especially, I want to know in some way, shape, or form that I had a positive impact on people. The meme version would be I want to show up and God to high five me and go, "Yo, you're a legend." But like, let's be real here. I get the feeling that's not going to happen.
What I think for me, the real version would be the same as Legionnaires, but the meme version would be God just telling me, why is this guy supposed to be here? I'm supposed to be here. Messed up. This guy out of here.
That's what I expect, but
You're expecting a clerical error when you get to heaven. That's
I am absolutely expecting a clerical error when I get to heaven.
Well, it's been a lot of fun, guys. Legionnaires, for what it's worth, buddy, I can tell you, you have made a positive impact on people. This league continues to astound, and being able to do this podcast and getting to talk to people I've gotten to hear a lot of stories about how much this means to people. So for what it's worth, not that the RBA is your life's work, but it certainly has made a very positive impact for
Well,
people.
I really appreciate that, Aloof, and I think your point about getting to speak to people about stuff like this, and that's why I've always wanted to do a podcast and just never been that. Just the whole, like, I don't know, like hearing people's stories and stuff has always appealed to me, and so I think I appreciate the work you do here. I think it's really cool. And yeah, I appreciate the kind words. I'm getting more long-winded than I wanted to.
I like it. That's what we're here for. All right, Twilight. Any parting words? Anything you want to shout out to anyone?
Don't go sparing my DMs with spoons, please. Especially spoons touching each other.
But please go ahead and do it. Legionnaires, how about you? But anything for the team?
Just huge thank you to everyone who's like still hanging around with us and just chilling with the RBA. It is not just me. It is not just the council. It is every single person who's involved in this that makes it happen the way it does. And I am so grateful for your guys' continued effort and support. It makes the RBA the RBA. So thank you guys for being you and doing how you do.
All right, this has been another great podcast episode of Alliance After Dark. Got to enjoy some really good conversations here with the LA brothers. Looking forward to that Battle of LA, which is tomorrow.
2 days from now.
2 days from now.
Or I guess 2 days from now from me. I think Twilight might be playing a day early.
There you go. Exactly. 2 days from now, so stay tuned
I've
for
already
that.
played.
That'll be a good one. All right, boys. This has been, again, Alliance After Dark. Peace.